Hey everyone, welcome back to the Parterre. Today we are planting a whimsical cottage garden. So today we are focused on planting along the wall. As we fill up all of these spaces here in the parterre, we are now getting on the edge of the parterre. And this is where we're kind of loosening those rules of everything's got to be flat, we got to have all uniform, a bunch of hedging. And this is really the transition between the super formal space of the parterre and the wild peninsula garden. And so here along the wall, we're going to be planting a beautiful cottage garden. Yes, I would say this is the quintessential cottage garden. There's going to be layers and color, and I think the idea is for this to just be sort of a whimsical, beautiful area from spring all the way through summer. I want it to be the kind of place that you walk by and you just are sort of enamored with all of the interesting things and all of the color. If there were to be a bunny to sort of hop by, I feel like that would be the perfect moment. As long as he doesn't eat my plants. That's fine. A formal garden still needs a little bit of wildness. Kind of like us. What do you mean by that? Well, I'm the formal garden and you're the wild. I'll take that. So over the season, we have just sort of been collecting plants as we see them and grabbing them up and saving them for the spot. And because of that, some of them are looking not so hot right now. So we're gonna plant everything today, and we're probably gonna cut some of it back immediately just so that we can try to get another flush before the season ends. But I think it's gonna fill in really beautifully and help to soften this wall a lot. Yeah. So thinking back to our original plan, we weren't sure exactly how much space we would have here in front of the wall to play with. It could have been a few feet, it could have been a few inches. We really weren't sure, and so originally we had some different ideas. We originally thought about lining this with boxwoods as well. Yep. And that just really didn't feel like us. It felt like it needed more layers, more color, more blooms. And so we wanted to sort of reserve this space for that. And I think the inspiration behind this is really sort of all of the cottage gardens that we explored while we were in Scotland and at Chelsea. Those were all super, super layered. And what I would say a Chelsea garden is just full of bloom. And that's of course because at the Chelsea Flower Show, they're just trying to wow you with anything that's in bloom at that time. So they pack it full. And I think that's what we're gonna do today. And I remember at Chelsea, there were a lot of pathways just filled up on both sides with beautiful perennials, just kind of overflowing the space. Obviously, we'll just be doing one side of the pathway here, but it's really gonna soften the edge a lot. And then thinking back to the Carlowrie Castle that we stayed at in Scotland, they also had a beautiful wall garden, and it was much deeper than what we have here, but it was filled up with verbena and sedum. There were some small roses in there, and even though we were there in fall, there was still so much interest, and I'm hoping that we can bring some of that back here. Yeah, I can't wait to sort of fill this up and then experience it in the spring. Obviously, I think in the fall, we'll have another flush of blooms, and we'll get to enjoy those, but the spring is really when this parterre in this space is really gonna come to life. So when you're thinking of planting a cottage garden, there really are no rules, but I feel like there are a few quintessential plants that you'll see us planting here today. Sedum, we've got some nepeta, we've got foxgloves, among many other things. Yeah. And some of these plants are new to us, so we won't be able to go through every single plant, unfortunately, but you'll kind of see the vision as we start to lay things out. We've also got a beautiful peony that we're gonna use to kind of cap the space over by the stairs. And I think next spring, when everything has its first fresh flush of blooms, it's gonna be really stunning. So we're gonna get started by placing all of our plants, and you'll probably see us moving them back and forth until we get them perfect, but we're gonna start by placing them and then we'll come back through and plant all at once. One of the things that we've always loved about formal gardens is that they are rarely just formal. Some of the most beautiful gardens we've toured in the world pair that beautiful formality with a touch of softness to make everything feel cohesive. That's exactly what we're creating here. I keep on saying that this is our version of a parterre, and that really feels like it's coming together on this wall. I keep thinking about how I felt walking through the wall garden in Scotland at Carlowrie Castle, and that's exactly what we want to tap in for this part here in the parterre. Just kind of overflowing with perennials and colors and textures, and I think that you're going to find all the plants we've chosen for this are the perfect amalgamation of color.
So we're laying these plants out along the wall, and of course, there's some tweaks that need to happen. We put some plants in that, after we stepped back and looked at them, didn't really feel like the vibe of this wall. We want everything to sort of feel lush and beautiful. We want those colors to balance. There's silvers, there's obviously dark greens. We want a little sort of touch of red in places. And I really do feel like as we lay these plants out, this is the perfect addition to this parterre.
Now there are quite a lot of plants in here, and we are not following any spacing recommendations for this. We are throwing all the rules out the window, and it's gonna be survival of the fittest. I'm excited to see how this fills in over the years. And I just think back to how densely we planted the Union Garden and thinking, wow, this is like way too many plants. But every year when it blooms, it just feels so full and lush, and you can't see any mulch in there. And I really hope we get to that point here with the wall garden really fast. Now there are a few hero plants in this mix that we do want to talk about because I just feel like they are quintessential cottage gardening plants. Number one is probably my favorite flower of all time, which is foxglove. We have grown foxgloves for quite a few years from seed and then out into our garden, and we've grown them in peach, in white, in purple, and pink. And in this garden, we have a new variety to us called rusty foxglove. And if you've been following us for a bit, you might remember that we grew this from seed this year. So this is gonna be a really special plant that we'll be adding to our garden, and it will be blooming for us next year. Most foxgloves are a biennial, which means they bloom the second year out in the landscape.
The next cottage garden hero plant is nepeta, and nepeta is one of my favorites. You guys know we have a ton of this in the garden already. We sort of have a drift leading around one pathway, and we're adding it in this space too because it feels like something that you want to see in every cottage garden. That sort of silvery foliage is just perfect, and you get those gorgeous purpley blue blooms.
It's one of my favorites too, and it's a perennial that we shear back here when it's done blooming, and usually we get 2 or 3 extra flushes of blooms, which is gonna be really nice.
It also has a great scent, so if you're ever wanting to lean down and smell something, it smells kind of minty.
The third hero plant here is hardy geranium. Now, we have tried hardy geraniums in our garden in previous years and have not had a lot of success. But this year, we have cracked the code, and it's water, you guys. They just have to have enough water. So we're adding the Roseanne geranium to this flower bed. There are 3 of them here, and we've kind of dotted them throughout. They will get kind of large. They'll get almost 2 feet wide and tall, and they'll just be like a beautiful mound of purple flowers. And I can't wait to see them kind of spilling over the edge into the pathway.
Yeah, I'm putting one of these right along the stairs, and I'm really hoping that it kind of spills over just like Tyler was saying. So as you're walking up the stairs, you get that beautiful geranium foliage and then those sort of neon purple blooms. So the next plant is one of my favorites. My favorite plant ever. This is lamb's ear. It's one of my favorites because of that glorious texture. There just really is nothing like it, and the color is incredible.
The way that it mounds in our garden, it almost acts like a ground cover and kind of creeps along. It's gonna be perfect in this garden, and I know as people are walking by, they're gonna wanna reach down and touch that, which is gonna add some really nice texture. Our final hero plant for the cottage wall garden is actually absent from our planting today. It is so special, we couldn't even find it. It's super late in the season here, but this plant is salvia. Now, Brian has been looking for this for a very long time, and it just feels like that quintessential cottage garden look. Really tall purple spires. Even the calyx is a really dark color. So once the salvia is done blooming, if you were to leave that up, it would still provide some beautiful color and texture. So we're gonna have to find a spot for that next season once we can get our hands on it, and I think it's really going to round out the planting here. I don't know if you guys can feel the heat radiating through your screen right now, but it is hot and we are wet. It is so humid here. The South is really brutal to us this time of year.
We are the crazies that are installing an entirely new garden right in the middle of it, but hey, I wouldn't have it any other way. One of the things I love most about growing your own plants is just seeing them go into the garden. It's like creating something from nothing. And in this garden, we planted some nicotiana and penstemon and yarrow, just some beautiful things that are fillers, and we saved a lot of money by growing it ourselves. Now I am using our power planter auger to plant in this space like we do in most of the garden, but it is pretty tight. And so we're starting with our 9-inch auger just to dig the few big holes that we have to get out of the way. Then we're gonna pop down to our 5-inch auger and go all the way down the wall and dig those holes. And then we're gonna come right back with our 3-inch auger for all of those plants that we grew from seed.
Now, as I'm going along planting here, the clay is really, really heavy. So I'm adding some biotone starter fertilizer to make sure those roots really get established. And then for our sedum that we're planting, I'm adding some permatil to the hole just to make sure they have really good drainage.
You guys will notice that we take a lot of clay away from this garden, and that's because we're gonna come right back over it whenever we're done and put a beautiful fresh layer of compost. So we don't want all of that clay sort of sitting under the compost and turning into like rocks.
You'll notice as we're planting here that there really are no rules. We've got different textures mixed all down the wall, and then we have one boxwood right by the stairs just for a little bit of a touch of formality.
I really do think that boxwood pulls it all together. Now, typically you guys see us plant in groups of 3s, 5s, and 7s, and we typically love to plant in drifts. That's one of the things that I feel like makes our garden stand out, is that anytime we add one of the plants that we really love, we add a lot of it, and it makes a really big statement right off the bat. But we're treating this space a little bit differently. As you walk down the wall, we're repeating some of these plants in 3s, 5s, or 7s, but we're spreading them apart so that the whole garden feels familiar as you're walking through it. That technique really is gonna pull this cottage garden style right together.
Once we finished planting, we added one single line of drip down the middle and some fresh compost, and now we're ready to go take a walk. Wow, it's so full.
Oh, I'm so obsessed with this garden. I know that we had the cottage garden against the house a while back, but this really feels like a cottage garden. It reminds me of the Chelsea Flower Show, maybe more than anything else in our garden, and I just love that so much.
All of the layers are just perfect, and all the different textures are just super pleasing to the eye. Like we have the Mexican feathergrass, we have the lamb's ear, which is really soft. We have the lady's mantle, which will catch water in the morning. And then down at the end, there's anemones that'll come up in the fall. I mean, there's just gonna be stuff to look at in here all season long.
Look at the color of these gorgeous cone flowers and that wallflower. I had never seen that before, but when I was at the garden center, it just looked so ethereal. And I think that's exactly what this garden gives. Also, this used to be grass.
So crazy to think about. There's only one space left in this garden before the parterre is complete.
It has been so fun working on this project all season long, and I cannot wait for the finishing touches. Thanks for joining us today in the parterre.
We'll see you right back here next week.
Next week in the parterre.